Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be ranking the greatest paintball players of all time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, get rid of this guideline bullshit. Oh, maybe I can't. Okay. Alright, so I have gone to tiermaker.com and I have listed 50 of what I consider the greatest paintball players ever to set foot on the field. Love paintball. I've been playing it pretty much my whole life. I did a pretty good run on the national strip. Never went pro, obviously. But I still follow the NXL and all the players. For those of you wondering now, this is going to be not only, the current greatest paintball players right now, it's all time. So there's going to be a lot of factors that go into me picking each of these. Obviously, talent, intelligence, stuff like that. But also, like what the person has done for paintball. That's going to play a factor in this too. Like what their contribution to the sport was. So there's going to be some people on here who may have been good, back in the 90s. But if they were to go up against one of our modern teams like Impact, Heat, or, Dynasty, even though Dynasty's been around forever, they wouldn't fare all that well, but their contribution to the sport is huge. So let us start off. Who are we going to pick to start off this list? This is going to be fun. Why don't we go... I'm just making sure I got everything good to go on my end. So I should have had all of this. If you can't tell, it's been a hot minute since I've been on here. So, okay. Let's start with... Oh, yeah. One of my favorite all-time characters, Glenn Takamoto. So here he is right here. Me and my friends always called him Glenn Rockamoto. I first came to know Glenn Takamoto whenever he joined Avalanche. This is before his Dynasty days. Back whenever they were doing NPPL 7-man. First time I saw him was at Huntington Beach, I believe. And the first time I saw it wasn't a great introduction to him for me because they were playing Dynasty and it was Glenn and Alex Frazier both in the Snake. And Glenn was trying to peek around and Alex just a single pop, just one shot him right in the goggle. He murked him pretty good. Like I said, it wasn't the best outing for him, but for me anyway, he's been around way before that. But if I'm gonna think about where I'm gonna put Glenn Takamoto on this list of GOAT, Superior, Elite, Astounding, and Premier, let's think about this. He is a clutch player. Whenever it comes down to if it's down to a one-on-one and you have Glenn and another player on the field, a lot of times Glenn's going to come through for you. Is it going to be the one making all those big moves throughout the entire tournament and turning heads? I wouldn't think so. He is really good in clutch. His IQ for the game is stellar. But if I'm going to put Glenn on this list, maybe I'll put him in Elite right now. He could go up this list, but for right now, we'll just put him at Elite. Alrighty. Ooh. Here's a name that if you're new to the sport, you probably won't know, but you should. Ed Poorman. Ed Poorman was one of the founding members of the original Avalanche team. Avalanche, whenever they came out, they were the bad boys of paintball. You had the All-Americans who were the elite team who were just, winning every single tournament. But if you wanted the troublemakers, then Avalanche, they played dirty and they played mean. But that's why people loved them. Avalanche has always been one of my favorite teams. Ed Poorman was the founder of that team. He was also the founder of Warp Sports. So if you ever had a Dark Angel or a Dark Intimidator or a Dark Matrix, those were the really, really elite markers of their day. To this day, if I were to find a dark, I think it was a Dark Chrysozoia Angel IR3. Champagne, one of the most beautiful guns ever made. And yeah, Ed Poorman was, he was there in the beginning. Having said all of that, I'm giving him credit for founding Warp Sports and creating, stellar markers. Is he an elite player, though? I don't know if he's elite. I don't know if he's astounding. He founded my favorite team. One of my favorite teams. He founded one of my favorite teams, and he was a good player. But there's so many good. We'll put him on Premier for now. I could see him getting bumped up. Okay. I see a couple people on this list already who I'm like, I know they're going to be in the GOATs, but I'm saving them. Okay, so. Who are we going to talk about now? How about Billy Ceranski? I think that's who this is right here. Billy Ceranski. Yeah, it's Billy Ceranski. Okay. So Billy Ceranski is one of the OG professional paintball players. He is one of the great, the greats ever. Aftershock is one of those teams that people just talk about, and they're like, oh yeah, Aftershock was one of those teams. They were with their back, with the All-Americans and Avalanche. They were one of those teams like the Bushwhackers. They were all about. This is before even Hyperball, way before Airball. This is in the woods tournament style. It's interesting because I actually heard an interview with Ceranski, and he was saying that if you were to take the teams today like Houston Heat or Edmonton Impact or even the Red Legion, for example, and you were to put them back in those scenario tournaments like what they were going through, those guys, he's adamant that they would get murked because it's not their style of play. They wouldn't know what to do. That's true. And he's used that argument to say that... Give me 1 second here. He's used that argument to say that, these teams, if they were to come back, they wouldn't do all that well because it's not their style of game. And that's why he believes that Aftershock and those other teams should be, ranked as, the greatest paintball teams of all time. I don't agree with that. Here's why I don't agree with that. Because if you were to take those teams from back in the day and you were to put them in a modern NXL format, I think that they would just get, and I'm talking about in their prime, not as old as they are now, take them from in their prime and you were to put them in this format, I think that they would get, destroyed, emphatically destroyed. And he would probably argue, there would be a learning curve, to which I would reply, well, there would be a learning curve for these modern teams, to go play your style of paintball. And these modern teams, I think that the athleticism and the physical, abilities that is required to play at this high of a level is something that would take a lot longer for those older teams to, commit to, running off the break, trying to try and do a 40 at something close to like what a running back does. That's what they're going up against here. So yeah, he also founded GI, or I don't know if he founded GI. I think he founded GI Sports. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and put him in superior. Maybe superior. He could move. All of this is subject to change. It's all subject to change, so it could all change at a moment's notice. Okay, so who are we going to talk about now? Jetta Mike 7, bro, it's been a long time. It has been a long time. I hope everybody's doing well. Yes, it has been a very, very, very long time. But if you're wondering if this is like a comeback, it's not a comeback to my channel or anything like that. I am still active weekly on Sift Pop Podcast. Get 3,000 listeners weekly, so roughly 12,000 a month. It's going really well, having a lot of fun over there. So Sift Pop actually has a YouTube channel, so if you actually want to hear my content, head over there. I'll see if I can post a link in the chat here. Let's see what I can find. Sift. Come on. All right, I will post this. There is the link to Sift Pop if you want to see like my weekly content and stuff like that. All right, so who are we gonna play next? Ooh, is that who I think it is? Is that? It's an interesting photo. Max Lundqvist. Yes. From Sweden. Max Lundqvist. Han bra spelare. Bra. It's been so long since I spoke Swedish. Han inte full. Last time you saw me, you were in high school and you've graduated college. Wow. That has been a long time then. Well, tell me what you graduated with. Like, where did you go? Like, what was your major and minor, whatever? All right. Maximus Lundqvist. Originally from Sweden, Stockholm Joy Division. His brother, Alex Lundqvist, was, I think, like an Abercrombie. Or not, but like a... not Abercrombie, one of those high-end, like a Chanel, or, as you can tell, I don't. He was like a Gucci model. He was like a stupidly handsome man, Alex Lundqvist, who also played, but I don't know if he ever played for Joy Division. I know he played for New York Extreme for a while there. IT and graphic design, nice. That's how you do it. He doesn't play anymore, Maximus doesn't. But whenever the Russians came over to the U.S. to start playing, he was one of the first guys to, like, whenever they were saying, hey, if you want to play, we're going to be one of the first teams to win, a European team to win in America. Because I don't think people realize decades went by before any European team ever won a major... Westville High. Decades went by before any European team won any major paintball tournament. Like, it was always an American team. I think maybe a Canadian team. Edmonton Impact wasn't around back then. But it had been decades. And Maximus was one of those guys that are like, hey, I think you're good enough that you can come over with us to be on this team. Yeah, great player. Where would I put him? I'll put him in astounding, but I foresee in the future he's going to get knocked down to premier. Now I work at a company called STEM Excel, where I teach kids robotics and programming in the DMV area. And I also work as a movie critic. Oh, nice! So yeah, I assume that you watch my channel because of my love for films and stuff like that. Well, hopefully you can check out Sif Pop. Like I gave the link up above. That's where I am, and I'm reviewing movies weekly. This week, tomorrow morning at 8 in the morning Central Standard Time. I can't believe that. It sounds like a horrible time to wake up. That's when I'm going to be doing my review for Thor Ragnarok, as well as Miss Marvel. It's going to be a full-on Marvel week for us. But that's going to be a lot of fun, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, back to this list here. Let's talk about... If anybody if anybody in the chat knows any of these paintball players, put them in the chat and we can talk about them and we'll put them on this list. Marcus Nielsen. Rest in peace. Oh, man. Marcus Nielsen, let me say this. He was probably one of the most aggressive players ever. Bunkering and stuff, yes, bunkering had been around, but whenever Marcus came on the scene, paintball at the time was very tactile. It was very chess-like. It still is, but the tempo of games is really, really elevated. And a lot of that has to do with Marcus Nielsen just being brutal. He was the one that people were always like, oh, crap, we're going to be playing Marcus. Okay, whatever side of the field he's on, double up on that side of the field because we need to contain him. He, just astoundingly aggressive player. And the way it was a numbers game for him. He's like, if I'm going to run a lane, say I'm going to, go highway or just straight down Dorito side, he would say, yeah, I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get out. But I can take at least one or two guys with me if I'm fast enough. And that's the style of play that he pioneered. I think if it wasn't for Marcus Nielsen, X-Ball would not exist. I genuinely believe that. I would probably... I'll put him in goats. He could get knocked down. Whenever I think goats, I can fit 10 people in the goats category. There's 4 people that I can think of that are like what everybody would argue as the greatest paintball players of all time. So it's going to be sorting those 4 and then everybody else afterwards. Everybody else. So just so you say, if you see somebody in the goats, I like how I have one in each category. I didn't plan on that. I'm just, randomly looking around. So it's going to be 4 of the greatest paintball players and then the other 46 just getting put places. All right. I see my boy Matty Marshall down here. Matty Marshall. All right. Great player. He was a great player. Not one of the greatest, but when he was on Cap Factory or whenever he was doing anything for WGP, that he had one of the prettiest WGP carnivores ever. It truly was amazing. that's not his great contribution to the sport. Funny enough, his greatest... I'm doing a ranking of the greatest paintball players of all time. He was a player, but I think his greatest contribution to the sport is actually in the media side of paintball. He is now the official announcer and broadcast commentator for the NXL. He has founded so many different media outlets for paintball. He's allowed it to be on ESPN. He's done so many amazing things that I don't think anybody has done more for paintball than Matty Marshall. You can go ahead and call him the paintball, the mouth of paintball. So, don't get me wrong, a really, really, really good player. Not going to find him in GOATs. I'll put him in elite for now. High end of elite. Now he's done more. Yeah, he's done so much for the sport. Alrighty. Let's take a look. Who else do we got here? Like I keep seeing like my eyes automatically go to like those four players and they're like spread out. Ooh, here we go. Rocky Knuth. All right. Captain and founder of the Naughty Dogs. Portland Naughty Dogs. All right. Here's the thing about the Naughty Dogs. They were the rough and rowdy team of paintball. To their detriment sometimes. I think one of the reasons that team fell apart is they were too dramatic. They would either come into a tournament and, because everybody on that team was so aggressive, they didn't have, pardon the pun, for Naughty Dog, they didn't have anybody reining in the collar. They didn't have anybody to hold them back and say, you can't bum rush every single team. You can't do that. Or you can't do it on this field layout. That's not that style of play that we need. And they would either, depending on the tournament style, they would either run through the competition and just make everybody look foolish, or they'd get last place. They were so inconsistent. They were a very inconsistent team. But they could, on some Saturdays and Sundays, destroy the greatest paintball teams of all time. And I'm talking like Dynasty, Aftershock, Iron Man, all of those teams. The Naughty Dogs could come on there and just and knock them all out. For that inconsistency and having just a very dramatic personality. Again, keep in mind, this is the top, on this list anyway, top 50 greatest paintball players of all time. So of all of them, just because they're in the bottom doesn't mean they're bad. I'll put him above Ed Poorman, but he's going in Premier for now. Who are we going to talk about now? Alexander Brezhnev. All right. Fuck, the Russians are good. God damn, the Russians are good. Sometimes it doesn't even seem fair with how good the Russian players are. Like, whenever the Russian Legion came over and scared the shit out of everybody, because up until that point, Dynasty was the greatest team of all time. Like, there has to be a team that eventually comes up that can stop Dynasty. Dynasty reigned supreme for decades. They're still, even this year, it's funny enough, those same players who are in their 40s now are still the best players in the world. And to say that they are the greatest team of all time is not hyperbole. they are the greatest team of all time. So whenever the Russians came over and we found out that they had a government-funded training session and that they were going to just destroy everybody, we were a little surprised. Because they were really fucking good. I mean, they were really, really good. Brezhnev is a scary, scary, consistent player. He is, I think, he has one of the greatest IQs that the sport has ever seen. So I will put him... I'll put him in superior. I could see him going up into goats. All right, enough fooling around. Let's talk about some Dynasty players. Let's get some Dynasty teams in here. Let's see. He's at the top right here. Let's talk about Alex Frazier. One of the original Iron Kids, man. Before Dynasty was Dynasty, they were the Iron Kids. And here's why Dynasty is the greatest team of all time. They changed how paintball was played. Running and gunning sounds so obvious to a lot of players nowadays. Guess what? It wasn't. No, whenever, you had those teams like the Philly All-Americans and you had the original Aftershock and obviously the Iron Men, they would, run to their bunker or whatever and then start shooting. They figured, as long as I'm running and I'm just focused solely on running, I can get there quicker and it gives me a better chance. But then running and gunning, getting yourself some, covering fire, it's shocking that it took these 14-year-old kids who walked out onto the field with the greatest players in the world, and these kids said, "Hey, we think we can, compete with you." And these guys laughed, and they got fucking rolled. They got demolished by these kids, and they got demolished by those kids for about 15, 20 years. And I think one of the best things about Dynasty is they started something that a lot of people don't really appreciate, and that's team farming. Not for Dynasty, but it works in their favor because for many, many, many years the Ironmen were the Yankees, I guess you could say, of paintball. They would always farm the best players to come and play for them. And it was difficult for other players or other teams to, keep a consistent roster because everybody wanted to play for the Ironmen. But whenever Dynasty started winning, all these players were like, hey, we want to come play for you. And for a long time, these Dynasty kids were like, it's just us and our friends. We're all a bunch of friends. We're not really about, playing, with, the best player. We want to play with each other, And those 14-year-old kids are now in their 40s and it's still a lot of the same players. Like, mainly, you got Yosh, Alex, Ryan. Ollie doesn't play anymore. But you even have Skinny K and Rusty Glaze and all these other guys coaching, It's it's that group. And they've been together for so long, that is what is keeping these guys in, this what would you call it? This talk of the greatest team of all time. Yeah, he has to, a lot of these, I doubt I would see, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm counting how many, as you can tell just by looking down at this list, a lot of Dynasty is in this list down here. So it's going to be hard for me to put anybody in Dynasty below, Superior or GOAT or Elite, because these guys have to be in that conversation still. So, okay, let's move on. Who should we talk about now? How about we talk about the original Maxim model pinup girl / paintball player, Keeley Watson. Keeley Watson was one of the pioneers to get women into paintball. A lot of people would see her and just say, oh yeah, she was the pinup girl, the sexy model who played paintball, but it was a model first. She was good. Keeley Watson was a really good, really good player, and she always promoted, betterments in health, and taking care of yourself. Is she gonna? Okay, yeah, she was really good, but she's not gonna get above Premier. But for what she did for the sport of getting young girls and women into playing paintball, she did a really good thing. But she wouldn't, last with any of these elite, I do like that she's on this list, though. I do like she's on this list. Travis Lemanski. He was one of the original people for Infamous to come over. He was one of the founding members of Infamous with Lasoya and them. Lemanski, here's the great thing about Infamous. Like Dynasty, Infamous proved a superior style of playing the game. They did it differently than Dynasty did, and I'll get into that. Man, this stuff's already hitting me. I'm gonna cut back on that. Drink some water real quick. All right, focus up. So, Travis Lemanski, whenever X-Ball, the format of X-Ball, really took off in the NXL. It was so different than what a lot of tournament formats had done before it. Tournament formats before that were round robin, MPPL, 7-mans, having a field, taking your time. You had 10 minutes on the clock. You can wait to make your moves, come out with 15 pods, and just, stay on the field and shoot 2,000 rounds in a single match. They just sit back and take care of themselves. And then X-Ball came around and they said, you have 30 minutes on the clock to beat the other team as many times as you can. After you beat them, you'll have a 1 minute, switch over session. Go refill your air, refill your pods, all that stuff. Then get back out on the field and beat them again. What did this format do? It forced the aggression. It was more sparse. The field layouts were more sparse. And that forced you to make big moves because not every single bunker you go to is going to be a critical bunker. You may have to use that bunker as like a stepping stone to get to the next bunker, but it forced the aggression. So Chris Lasoya, Lemanski, all these guys, they got together and they were like, why can't this aggressive style of play work in an MPPL format? So Lemanski, Lasoya, Thompson, I think, a bunch of these, guys who were really championing this new format of X-Ball over the MPPL. Like, hey, I think that this is a more appealing style of game to watch. It delivers, and I think that X-Ball is forcing us to become better athletes. All the MPPL teams were like, what are you talking about? The MPPL is the most premier style, and there's no way that a play style like X-Ball would work in an MPPL format. So what did Losoya and them do, they formed the Team Infamous. What was Team Infamous? I'll tell you what Team Infamous was. It was a ragtag group of professional athletes who were playing X-Ball, who had no sponsors at that time. It was their first event. They went into Tampa Bay, and they just bought all their stuff there. They got Empire pants and non-team jerseys. Obviously, they took those non-team Empire jerseys with a magic marker and they just wrote Infamous on it, and then they just wrote some cool stuff all over their jerseys, and then they put their names and numbers on the back with a magic marker. And they went out to Tampa Bay, and they did it. They made everybody their bitch. I mean, they rolled through the MPPL Tampa Bay, destroying Dynasty. Losoya running down, I think he got 2 or 3 packs to win the tournament. And everybody's like, oh, maybe the X-Ball style is forcing people to be better players because our play style can't keep up with this new format, because our communication at the time is, hey, where is he right now? And then they're like, yeah, he's in the back corner right now. But X-Ball was forcing like a D1, D2, S2, S3, these quick calls, you know, and MPPL couldn't keep up with that. So, yeah. Let's put Lemanski in Elite right here. Alrighty. Who we can talk about? J-Rab, Justin Rabackoff. Making copies. I see Daddy Rabackoff in this list too. I'm going to put him up here. He could move down. So, because I know the 4, and I'll just keep putting him. I'll put Justin Rabackoff up here. J-Rab, it's kind of the Floyd Mayweather, you know, thing. Like, his dad was one of the most elite players of all time, so he trained his son from a very young age. Hey, kid is going to be the guy out there. And yeah, he is shockingly good to this day. He started playing when he was like 15, just like the Dynasty guys did whenever they were younger. I think he's in his late 20s, maybe he's in his 30s now, I don't know. But he, to this day, is still an elite player. Yeah, you can't have a GOATS list without at least considering Justin on that list. Ooh, I know we just did Dynasty not too long ago, but Skinny Kevin, man, I like how this is. He doesn't look too skinny in this photo, but this is Skinny Kevin. Skinny Kevin, SK, who's coaching Dynasty now. I'll get a lot of shit for this. I consider Skinny Kevin to be the greatest back player of all time. I think he's the greatest back player ever to do it. A lot of people might say Dave Baines, who I see is on this list too. Man, he is. Yeah, I'm putting my foot in the ground. This is the hill I'm gonna die on. Skinny Kevin is the greatest back player of all time. His knowledge of the game is superb, obviously, because he's had to adapt with the game over so many iterations of it, and not only play, but, you know, have the knowledge to coach. I'll put him in Superior for now. I'll put him over here, because he may be the greatest back player of all time, but I never really saw him move from the back. So versatility is going against him. But he, you know, kudos to him. He found one area of the field and he honed it to perfection. Absolute perfection. But not a well-rounded character. Yeah, I'll put him there. Who else can we... Oh, Ryan Moorhead. Ryan Moorhead. He might be the smartest. He might be the smartest player to ever play the game. Like, his knowledge of the rules and, making like a 900 IQ plays on the field. Like, like, hey, don't hit the buzzer yet. Wait till somebody gets out of, penalty box. Stuff like that, like waiting, and then as soon as they're out, bomb, hit the buzzer. Or he knew that the game is more than running and gunning and knowing lanes and stuff like that. He knew that there was more to it, and I think for that he's gonna go in superior. Man, this list is just full of really good freaking people. Okay. Let's talk about Keeley Rudolph. Keeley Rudolph. I see him going in the astounding category. Aggressive player. Very high IQ. Whenever he was on Infamous, he loved to party. He fucking loved to party. Probably still loves to party. I don't know. But yeah, he was a very aggressive player. He forced a tempo that a lot of teams weren't comfortable with. Opposing teams. Oh, hold up. Todd Adamson. We're going to move on. I think a lot of people would say, Andrew, you're a fucking fool for saying that Skinny Kevin is the greatest back player of all time, because Todd Adamson is right here on this list. So, but I still think that Skinny Kevin is the best. Let's put him in superior. I don't want to do all my back players all at once. Taylor Thomas. Or Thomas Taylor, sorry. God, I think I took too much. Delta 8. All right. Thomas Taylor. Passionate. I think that's the word you can use to describe Thomas Taylor. Thanks to his awesome mohawk, you always knew which player he was on the field, kind of like Lasoya with that long-ass ponytail. You always knew who he was on the field. I think Thomas Taylor is a player that a lot of people would take. He was also one of those original Infamous, whenever Infamous came over from NXL to the NPPL. He murked Dynasty and everybody in Tampa Bay. Am I going to end up putting all of these Dynasty guys up here in Superior, and then a lot of these Infamous guys down here in Elite? That's funny. Okay, so let's talk about who are we going to talk about? All right, we'll talk about Bob Long. I was wanting to hold off, but I think we're kind of getting down to that. All these names are the big names, Don't get me wrong, a lot of these names we've talked about are big names, like Alex Frazier and Matty Marshall. But I think Bob Long. He founded Bob Long's Ironman, the Oakland Assassins. One of the original Ironmen. He founded Bob Long's Intimidators, the greatest paintball guns of all time. One of the greatest coaches of all time. Nobody's loved the game more than Bob Long. He'll go up here in GOATs. Yeah, he's going in GOATs. For sure. Alrighty. Rich Telford. Mr. Attitude. Aggressive player. Aggressive on the field, very passionate on the field. The bad boy of paintball, some people would call him. He didn't put up with shit, and he liked to talk shit. He still talks shit. He's helping Matty Marshall commentating right now for the NXL. He talks shit. So if you don't like that in somebody, but I'll put him at the front of Astounding for now. We might move him up. Okay. Alrighty. Rocky Cagnoni. Ooh. That's a name I haven't heard in a really long time. Rocky Cagnoni. Talking about him right here. He was one of those goofy ass guys. I keep talking about all these guys in past tense. It's just, this game, it takes its toll on you. I can't even imagine what some of these guys like Ryan Greenspan, Yosh, like what physical ailments they've had, or they still have from playing the game, and they still play at such an elite level is astounding. Rocky Cagnoni, trash talk, or not a trash talker. He was really nice guy, and I keep talking about him in past tense. Just know when I say past tense, these guys are still around. It's just they don't play anymore. A lot of people would say he's like one of those guys superior. Let's see, where would we put him? He's going to superior. Yeah, okay. Todd Adamson, though. Yeah, I'll leave him here for now. It'll be fine. B. Paxson. Just like Keeley Watson, she did such an amazing job at, championing women to play and stuff like that. And if, people are, this may be, objectifying, apologies. I'm trying to do this as a compliment and not as an objectification. Out of all of those paintball models, I think she was always the prettiest. Oh yeah, still gorgeous. And like Keeley Watson, like I said, she pushed the sport forward for women. But as opposed to Keeley Watson, I think she did so much more pushing, because she's still in the game. She's still in it, coaching, doing all this stuff. So she really took it seriously. So yeah, I'm going to put her right at the top of Premier. Okay. Let's do it. Let's talk about Fred Schultz. Godfather of paintball. Paintball wouldn't be a thing, really, if it wasn't for this guy. Yeah, Fred, so, for that, simply, he's going in goats, but he's going towards the back. He, like I said, he's, the Godfather. But if we're ranking players on more than just what they did for the sport, like, you got to put in athletic ability too. He's going in goats, guys. Give me a break. Okay, so now we can talk about. Yep, time for another. Time for another Dynasty member, Alex Goldman. Yeah, Goldman. Alex Goldman's one of the greatest of all time. When did he come to Dynasty? He was one of those whenever, Dynasty started actually taking players who were new to the sport, or that whenever the older guys were retiring, they were kind of churning in new players. Mouse was, he was one of those original guys, and he's been with them for ever since. It's crazy what that guy's been able to do in the sport. Where are we going to put him? And for how well he, worked with those guys and works with those guys, and he outshined a lot of them. Honestly, we'll put him in goats. All right, so. Marty Bush. Getting all these Godfather guys out of the way. Marty Bush. Yeah. One of the OGs of the sport. One of the best to ever do it. I'll put him right here in Superior. Okay. Okay. We're getting down to where I'm like, I've been saving guys, and now it's time to just call them up. All right. Let's talk about Daddy Rabackoff, Steven. He's one of those guys who's up there with like Billy Ceranski and like like one of the pioneers to push the sport to what it is. An insanely good player. Obviously, his knowledge of the game, what he was able to pass on to Justin, it's crazy. Let's put him in Superiors. Yeah. Okay. Getting down to it. So, all right, Spesh Robinson. He's been staring at me this whole time with that goofy ass smile. So, what are we gonna do with you, Spesh? I'll put you in Elite. You're good. You're really fucking good. But now that I'm seeing like the quality people that I'm putting in Superior, I'm like, okay, Superior is like really starting to stack up with some of the goats, and I'm wondering, should I stick to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Okay, so let's talk about Chad Boucher. My name is Bobby Boucher. Chad, he's going in Elite. Good player. I didn't really watch a lot of him, but I know he's at that level. So, but I'm not going to say that I'm an expert on every goddamn player to ever play the game. One of my favorite players ever, who is now the coach of Houston Heat, Todd Martinez. Funny as fuck. Always, can put a smile on your face. But he was a great back player. He was really good mid too. I remember whenever he left Dynasty, I think he was one of the first people to leave Dynasty, and he went to Aftershock. A lot of people thought that was a foolish move. This is back in like a MPBL World Cup, and he says that he always says Dynasty in his heart, but he went to go play for Aftershock. I think this was 2001-ish, 2002, somewhere around there. Anyway, or it might have been the year 2000. In the year 2000, he left to go play with Aftershock. It was World Cup, and Dynasty was the favorite to win. But thanks to a quick run down the lane, he took out I think it was Skinny Kevin and Ryan Greenspan. He did a 2-pack to win World Cup. It was crazy. So he has some pedigree under him. Let's put him on this high end of You know what? I'm going to put him above Alex Frazier. Take that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's our 10 for Superior. Okay. So after this, we're going to have to start putting people up or down, or, moving people. Dave Baines. You are one of the best back players of all time. If I am putting Skinny Kevin and Adamson in Superior, Dave is going at the very top of Elite. Apparently I love back players. Who'd have thunk it? With my bad knees, of course I do. Tim Montresor. You're going right. No, yeah, Glenn. No, not my skin. Yeah. You're going right here. No, I lied. You're going right here. I know he's good. I do. It's just I don't remember too many things about him. Nicky Cuba. Fuck. Where would I put Nicky? When I think the team Ironman, like the team that came after like the Ironman for like the All-Americans, back in those days, I'm talking like the reinvented Ironman. Nicky's the one I always think of. Let's go. Fuck a duck. I'll put him right there. No, he's going right there. I'm switching Lemanski over here. Yeah, there we go. I like that. Is that Billy Bernaccia? Where would we put Billy at? A lot of these guys are going to be filling up this elite category here. Damn. Only one more spot in elite and everybody else is going in astounding. That doesn't seem right. Okay. J.C. Whittington. He's... I'll put him right there. God damn, that guy was good. Fuck, he was good. Okay. All right. Man. Tyler Harmon What are you up to? Winning tournaments is what you're up to. Really. All those Dynasty guys are just so goddamn good. I'm going to move Cagnoni down here. And I will move... No. Okay. So, for now... Where's Tyler Harmon? Did I put him up here? Or is he down here? No, he's right here. Okay. Yes, he's good, but he's proved himself and stuff. He gets a couple more years on him. I'll put him in Superior. Fuck. He does a couple more after that. He'll probably end up in GOATs with the way his career's going. But he's gonna go here. Yeah, we'll go right here. All right, and then it's going Premier. I'm gonna have to put a lot of these. This is not filling up as well as it should. Okay. So yeah, let's start. No, I'll put him here. No, I'll put Billy. You're going right there. No, I'll keep Billy up here. I'll move you down. Okay. All right. Let's kindly move on to... How long have we been doing this damn thing? Yeah. I'll find a timer somewhere else. Okay, so let's talk about Archie Montemayor. Honestly, he has to go in Superior, so sorry, Cagnoni, you're getting knocked down. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. Okay. What Archie has been able to do for San Antonio X Factor is nothing short of remarkable. The guy is still one of the most elite athletes ever to do it. Frank Connell. Let's see. Yeah, let's talk about Frank Connell. Yeah, he whenever, it's funny because he was originally on the All-Americans, and whenever Avalanche was, really coming into their own, he had a funny way of jumping ship just at the right time to the next great team, because he went from All-Americans to Avalanche, and then Avalanche to Dynasty for a little bit. That was really fun. But he let you know when he was on the field. Yeah, he's one of those guys that people would be really upset if he doesn't go in Superior, but I can't put him on because I don't know if his play style really would, like, I don't see him being one of the elites today. Oddly enough, I put him in the elite category. All right. You know what? We're going to do it. Let's talk about our number 5. he's going to be, whenever we finally finish, he's going to be number 5 in GOATs. God. The Russians are so fucking good. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, if you guys don't know this, Paintball, the Russians are so fucking good. Mishka is today. If he had the pedigree of time under his belt that a lot of these other people do, like the ones that people like at the top 3 that people argue for, if he had that pedigree of time underneath his belt, he would probably be number 1. Yeah. The most consistent. I think he each year gets like the most kills in the NXL too. Mishka is. It's stupid how good this guy is. Yeah. One of the 2 greatest ever to come out of Russia, and one of the top 5 greatest to ever do it. So there we go. There's 2 that I've revealed that are in my top 5 GOATs. Okay. Here's somebody we can talk about. Fabricki. Yeah, Tavares, back in the day, was one of the hidden gems out of Europe, with the Tauntauns and everybody. Easily the best player for that team ever. One of the greatest European players ever. I will put him in astounding. Maybe there. Yeah, I like that spot. Okay. Oh, god damn it. Okay. Yoshirao. Let's talk about it. He'll go in GOATs. Like I said, a lot of these Dynasty guys, they're going to end up in the GOATs. It's just the way the game goes, you know? They're the greatest team of all time. So, the fact that I got 3 OG Dynasty guys in Superior just feels wrong, you know? But, okay. Ah, shit, I moved that, didn't I? So. Alright, I got it back now. Tyler Humphrey. So let's. Yeah, you'll go in astounding. I like Tyler Humphrey, don't get me wrong. But a lot of people would probably tell me to eat shit for putting him that low on this list, but don't get me wrong. I like the guy. Excessive's one of those teams that just from the sound of it sounded like it was going to be such an incredible team. Excessive never had that thing that just took them to the next level. Like, they tried to do the exact same thing Infamous did. Infamous just said, hey, let's get some of the best players in the NXL and put them all on a team, and then we will roll through everybody in the PPL. Excessive said, hey, let's do that, but we'll just take the greatest players in the NPPL and put them all on a team. And it didn't take off. It's so unfortunate because it's one of those teams that's like, no, this team out of every single year had a chance of still making it. This channel is still dead. No, it has been a while. It has indeed been a while. So yeah, we are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah, we're down to 10 now, and these 10 that we're going to be talking about, they're, yeah, there's some pretty good ones. Obviously, I've been saving some of them. Who are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about Marcelo Margot? Are we going to talk about the Slozhnikov, Sergey? Let's talk Marcelo Margot. He has to go in elite. That would bring Bernaccia down here, which feels weird. This whole thing feels weird because these people I'm putting on this list. Okay. You know what? I shouldn't do it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put Fred Schultz. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do it. I guess that means Alex Goldman's gonna get knocked down here. You are gonna get knocked to here. And Thomas Taylor's gonna get there. Oh my God. Yeah, this isn't going the way I expected. I thought that I had all this figured out, but I guess I've been saving the best players in the world, of all time, for the very end. So it's forcing me to push everything down. Okay, well that makes it a lot more interesting. God damn. Anyway, let's Angel Fregosa. I mean, fuck. Again? No. He's going in elite. Oh, that feels so fucking weird. That feels so fucking weird. Okay. I did not think it was going to be this difficult. I didn't honestly think it was going to be this difficult. Okay. Brian Smith. Wow. I'm just going to go down this line. No. God, that doesn't feel right. None of this feels right anymore. Wait a minute, where did Matty Marshall go? Am I not seeing them? What am I doing? No. Where the hell is Matty Marshall? I put him on the list. I checked it twice. See, there he is. Goddamn, he's staring me right in the face. Son of a bitch, what the hell's wrong with me? I am having a time with this, ladies and gentlemen. I'll say that now. Okay, who's next? Did I put somebody on the list? Okay. Oh, man. That just doesn't feel right. Okay. Let's talk Brandon Short. You'll go in Astounding. I'm comfortable enough with putting you at the top of Astounding. Although he is a Dynasty guy, so. Yeah. I thought we put... Just a second. I thought we put Brian Smith up here. Did we not? It's been a while. So. It's getting down to it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I thought we put Sergey on this list too. Fuck. Let's... Fuck, the Russians are good. God damn it, the Russians are good. Fucking Rich Telford, you're on the chopping block, buddy. Didn't see that coming. I didn't see a lot of this coming. Maybe I'll move Matty to the bottom of Elite, but I still think for everything he's done for the sport, he's got to be at least here. He gets like 150% A++ for that, for everything he's done. Okay. Chad George. No. Yeah, wait. There we go. There we go. Alright, so... Alright. We're down to it. 2, 3, 4, 5. So, this is going to determine the... Did I get this lined up right? Nope, down 1. Alright. These 4 down here that we have not put in are the top 4 greatest paintball players of all time. So, this is where it's going to get interesting. Because what I truly believe to be, in order, the 4 best, is going to surprise some fans of the game. So, let's go with number 4. And that is Chris Lasoya. There are so many people in the world who would consider Chris Lasoya to be the greatest paintball player of all time. And if they told me that they thought Chris Lasoya was the greatest paintball player of all time, I would go, yeah, I get it. Yeah. What he would physically put himself through for the game. Like, he destroyed his body, the way he dove into bunkers and stuff. He's on that level. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest player of all time. All right, number 3. Konstantin Fedorov. Easily the greatest player ever to come out of Europe. He displayed more athletic abilities on the field than any other player in history. Jumping over lanes of paint, the way he would jump over bunkers. Guy has ups. He's still one of, if not the greatest player of all time. There was, whenever Ollie Lang was going around, people were saying because this isn't preemptive of my list, but everybody back in the day was like, Ollie Lang is the greatest paintball player of all time. Like, Ollie Lang is now better than Chris Lasoya. So, Ollie Lang is the greatest of all time. And forever I was like, yeah, nobody can touch this kid. He's from another planet. Then the Russians invaded, and Konstantin Fedorov was doing things that made people go, I don't know if Ollie Lang can do that. I don't know if Ollie Lang can do that. If he can, then I haven't seen him do it. The physical prowess of Konstantin Fedorov, his knowledge of the game, his athleticism is otherworldly. And now, the number 2 and number 1. who I consider to be the greatest paintball player of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are down to it. It could either be Ollie Lang or Ryan Greenspan. Who I consider to be the second greatest paintball player of all time is Ollie Lang, leaving Ryan Greenspan in first, and that pushes Fred Schultz, which pushes Steven, which pushes... I can't do it. So, Tyler, yeah, you're getting down here. And it happened. There it is. But going all the way back up. So, Ollie Lang, considered by most people in the world to be the greatest paintball player of all time. People call him the Michael Jordan of paintball. He did things nobody else could. He got more kills than anybody. He knew more than anybody. He did everything. But to every Michael Jordan, you need to have a Scottie Pippen who is consistently throughout their career what they've done for the sport, what they have committed to, what they've taught, what they've learned, what they displayed. Ryan Greenspan is the Scottie Pippen, who a lot of people would argue is better than Michael Jordan because he was the most well-rounded, perfect player. Ryan Greenspan is the perfect... If you were to build a paintball player in a lab, but you only had half a vial of the athletic prowess of Fedorov, you'd get Ryan Greenspan. I love watching him to this day because he does something that I rarely see any other paintball player do. And it's because he has what I consider to be the greatest field awareness of any player to ever play the game. Ryan Greenspan will just stand in the middle of the arena, not behind a bunker, because he knows where everybody is. He knows that he can stand there and he will not be in anybody's lane. And he has the knowledge to, if somebody moves, he knows exactly where to go to put himself. He will stand straight up above bunkers. Ryan Greenspan is what I consider to be, and I quote, the absolute perfect paintball player, and that makes him the greatest paintball player of all time. So, please tell me in the comments down below all the rankings that I got wrong. It's been a while since I've been on this channel. It was good talking to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Stay blessed, and until next time, Godspeed. I remembered.